There will come a day that I'm not able to touch my toes with my leg straight because of my spine, and that will be a sad day. With the condition that I have called Ankylosing Spondylitis, there's a good chance that the vertebrae in my spine are going to start to fuse and I'm going to lose range of motion. Something called bamboo spine, when your spine literally turns into a stick. Luckily, a lot of that can be avoided with regular stretching and movement. So today I'm going to take you through all of the things that I do to keep the movement of my spine. I'm going to give you a beginner variation and more advanced stuff as well. We're going to go through all of the spine functions. So number one is rotation of the spine. Number two is our lateral flexion and extension. Number three is our forwards flexion. And four is our extension. And the last one we shall save to the end of the video when we make it a bit weird. Number one is our rotation of the spine. If we try and go straight for extension first, you can kind of see that we're all like stegosauruses. All of these little bones kind of get stuck on each other. But by rotating, we're actually able to extend a little bit further. So great exercises done regularly are awesome, but great exercises done in an order that complement each other is even better. So the exercise that I love to use and do most often is called a zenith rotation. So this is when we sit ourselves down into this position like this. Then from here, we go one hand up like this, and then we rotate our spine up to this position here. From here, I can take a big breath in and then breathe out. And this helps me to go a little touch further. And we can do this on both sides, and we look for any difference side to side as well. So the key with this is not to just go to where you can get to. You want to use the breath to help bring you around further, as if you were wringing out a wet towel. So when I'm here, breathe in, breathe out, and twist myself further. 3 breaths on each side is absolutely awesome, and you can do these every day. This helps to help you with your spinal extension through the rotation, which helps your posture and helps your shoulders to feel freed up as well. Doing rotation under your own power is great, but also adding in resistance bands really helps you to get more strength through that range too. So if you're someone that's hypermobile, for example, you want to use the muscles to create the rotation, and the band is a great way to do that. So from here, I can use a standing position, and then I can rotate myself like this. Then, as I rotate through my thoracic spine here, I'm able to twist a little bit and have to work harder to keep that position. So this is a pulling rotation. I would want to do this on both sides, and the key point here is I'm making sure not to just open my hip and not really move my spine. It has to come from the thoracic spine. So you've got 12 vertebrae in your thoracic spine. You want them to move as well as possible, because this helps to take pressure off the lumbar spine. So the lower spine actually wants to feel more stable, and if you can improve the range of motion and the strength through your upper back, that helps to keep things a lot happier. So we want to do at least 5 to 10 reps and 3 sets of a pulling rotation, and we also want to do the same with a pushing rotation too. So you want to be able to teach the muscles to be able to organize themselves through a pull and a push, and also work using that rotation. This has been so helpful for so many different shoulder problems and lower back problems as well. Core needs rotation, spine loves rotation, so working through that is a really nice thing. We also want to free it up a little bit, so don't be afraid to kind of pull in a slightly different direction too. So if you just do a straight rotation with me and kind of go as far as you can also in that position lift up a little bit and even rotate a little bit further. You can use the band to help you with that as well. So whenever we pull and feel like we've kind of got stuck, we can kind of lean a bit to the side and then twist a little bit further as well. Always remember, there's discs in between each vertebra, which allow your spine to twist like this, but also you're able to twist at a slight angle as well. And this brings us nicely to lateral flexion and extension. Lateral flexion and extension is quite literally bending from side to side. A lot of people are limited on one side and not the other, and this can actually bring a shoulder down over time, or it can hike a hip up as well. And spines hate that. We want to feel we can move equally from side to side. Now, practice this with me. There's a difference between just squashing down at one side and squashing down at the other. So it's not bad, but there's a difference if we want to stretch and improve range. What I want to do is imagine there's a table beside me, and I need to try and lean up and over that table. And all of a sudden, we get a much deeper stretch down this side. So if you look at the difference in range, this is me just compressing and going down. This is me lifting up and over. Immediately bigger stretch all the way down, even right into the front of my hip here as I do that. So practice that first of leaning up and over like this. And then one of my absolute favorite stretches to use, you can do this on a door frame, basically something that you can hang from like this, and you can lean yourself out like that. So you can actually use an anchor point to start to work on your lateral flexion and extension. And you do that on both sides like this. When you feel confident and there's no pain whenever you do that, you can even start to use light weights to help build a bit of strength to it as well. Keep a weight on one side, and again, remember that up and over sensation, and lean yourself down until you feel like the muscles are having to work hard to not let you go a bit further. Then from there, you can actually bring yourself back up to neutral, and then do it on the other side with the weight still on that same side, like that. So just like 3 reps is absolutely plenty for this. We're looking to go slow and just get those muscles working and teach the spine to feel safer and supported through that lateral flexion and extension. Next up is our forwards flexion. That's the ability to round the spine and start to be able to go down towards that toe touch idea. We want to, over time, be able to get to touch the toes with our legs straight, but also at a certain point be able to even get your fingertips underneath your toes, still with the legs straight. To go one step further, you can even work towards getting the palms down to touch the floor. But ultimately what we want to do is practice this movement nice and slow. So if I was against the wall here, the way to actually initiate this is imagine I was a piece of sellotape that was being peeled off a wall. So peeling my head off, peeling the upper back off, letting it round, and then gradually just letting all those little bits of the spine come off the wall nice and slowly until you're starting to work towards bringing yourself all the way down. This is quite a hard test to do if you're up against the wall. So there's about this much space from my heels to the wall, and this helps me to get a nice fuller movement. If you notice that as you're starting to tuck your chin down and all of a sudden a full whack of your spine comes off, you don't really have that level of control yet. So try and imagine you're trying to push each individual vertebra into the wall as you're actually rounding down, and you'll feel much different as you actually do that. So we can go for, again, just 3 reps, absolutely plenty to work on it, and then take a wee rest, and then go back up again. The great thing is that it's very easy to test, so you can see where your range of motion is, and if you kind of get stuck halfway down the shins, over time, as you're working on it, you'll see that you're able to get lower as well. When you're super confident with your forwards flexion, you can even start to add a bit of weight to it. Now, I'm talking a small bit of weight. I can easily lift this kettlebell up and even press it above my head. This is not a heavy weight to me. It's all relative to what you can personally do. So you hold the weight in front and make sure that your toes are able to get slightly over the thing that you're using. Make sure it's proper stable and doesn't tip as you bend forwards. Then, same idea. We tuck the chin, we imagine that we're that bit of sellotape, and we're peeling ourselves off our imaginary wall, trying to get as much spine movement as we can as we do that. We're keeping a soft bend in the knees, and we're trying to get down nice and low like this. Then you get to the bottom, you can breathe out, and then try and sink a touch lower. Then you slowly bring yourself back up. Imagine you were slowly putting that piece of sellotape back on the wall, or a piece of wallpaper, whatever you prefer. The goal here is to go super slow, and I would even just go 1 rep at a time and then take a little break in between as well. So it's mainly to get the muscles to feel strong, that they are supporting the spine as you actually move. So at a certain point, bodyweight stuff just isn't enough, and if you want to get that little bit of extra strength, a tiny bit of weight goes a long way. Number 4 is the extension of our spine. Woohoo! Don't worry, you don't need to do that, but having your bed or your sofa in a way that you're able to actually lean over it and extend through your spine is a great thing to do. So using this as a bit of an anchor point, again, it's much nicer if you've got something soft. From here, I try and extend back as much as I can, and then I try and, as if I was doing a reverse crunch backwards. So forwards crunch would be like this. With the muscles of my back, I want to imagine I'm trying to crunch down a little bit. So you'll feel a little bit of compression as you do that. Don't go as hard as you can. And then from there, you can just quite literally shimmy yourself up to a few different positions to do that in, and you'll feel it in slightly different places as you do it. You can go down a little bit further, and then same idea, back, down, like that. The main thing is that you're feeling all the muscles of your back contracting and being strong in that position, and that will help you to get more extension. When that feels much easier, you can start to work on bridge progressions. So using something sturdy you can put your feet up on, you actually want to start pressing yourself into more extended positions with your spine. So this really helps you to build up your shoulder strength, but also that spinal extension too. I really love the foot elevated version, as it's just a much nicer position to get a bit of time in and to actually wiggle around. Being able to spend time in a position is more important than trying to force yourself into the end range position. So stick with the initial ones. If you're working on your rotation regularly, your lateral flexion extension, and your extension in that way, you will have the prerequisite mobility to start to build up to the bridge as well. So quite simply, from doing the things in this video so far, I've warmed myself up for a full bridge. Not too bad with spinal arthritis. So it's not an essential thing, okay? That's advanced flexibility. If you're doing the other things regularly though, you can progress to that. But something that I deem as essential flexibility for your spine is being able to hold the thoracic bridge. So that's when you have yourself on one arm and you press up like this. So you can extend and rotate through the spine and hold yourself in this extended position. So thoracic bridge, yes, essential flexibility. Full bridge, not so much. It's just a nice to have if you can work towards it. Now, I did promise at the start of the video that we were going to have a bonus, and the bonus is quite literally all of the above. Moving your spine in all the ways that it can and just mixing it up. One of the best ways to do this is an exercise that's called disco cat, and that's when you quite literally combine doing your lateral flexion and extension, your flexion and extension, and even throw in a bit of rotation as well. Let the hips move, let the shoulder blades move, and just make it weird. Make it sexy. What I like to actually call this is the happy, sexy cat. Now, for me, I have 5 herniations in my spine. I've got multiple level nerve impingement as well, and no pain. What I found was if I was always too clinical and always just moving like a robot, I would feel much worse. So I want to assess things, yes, check ranges of motion, but I also want to make it a bit weird and just move completely naturally, just like a kid as well. So never forget, a minute of this can make things feel so much looser, and just simply by relaxing your breathing, you really help to get all the muscles loosened off. We can also take this concept to the resistance band. With your band at the same anchor point as you had for those banded pull and push rotations, I also want you to start to play around with actually going into as many different weird angles as you can. So even round your back, twist your back. These are all things that you want to be able to do comfortably and not be afraid to do either. So like I said, make it a bit weird, bend over, round over, twist your back, twist your spine in that position. If you're quite afraid to move like this currently, then just start off super slow, keep your breathing really relaxed, and just pick a few different angles to work to. So I like a 1, 2, 3, so kind of twist this way, 1, twist this way, 2, twist this way, 3, and then over time, start to expand those ranges a little bit more, even go into a hinge deadlift position. You can even bring yourself down into a lunge, twist and bend like that as well, wrap the band around yourself, just make sure not to wrap it around your neck. Make it weird, go in as many different positions as you can, and your spine will feel a lot happier for it. Your spine is designed to move, it's meant to move, and if you train the muscles in the ways that they're able to move, then your spine is going to be able to move a lot more. How many times did I just say move? In short, always make sure to rotate your spine, laterally flex and extend your spine, do forwards flexion, extension, and move weird as well. I have courses at tommorrison.uk, which just has all of this stuff included. I always make sure to program with how the joints are supposed to function, and I also always lay things out in the best order to get the most results as well. So head over to tommorrison.uk and you can get started there.